So we're going to take a look at an interaction between a young lady and a police officer at an American, looks like basketball or baseball or some sort of field-related sporting activity. As you can see, everyone around her, bar the young children, are wearing masks, and I probably think what's happened here is that there's a city ordinance in place that says when you get to a certain age, you are legally obliged within that state or city to wear a mask. So we can see a police officer has come over wearing a face mask to have a chat with this young lady. I think what's happened here is that the young lady has failed to comply with this gentleman or police officer's demands, requests, orders to wear a mask. Has not left the area, the stadium, and the officer's not been left with much of an opportunity other than to arrest this young lady for failing to comply. And as we can see here, mum or whoever this is has decided to get involved as well, and we can see that there's an individual that's like coming over as well to help out the police officer.
I am.
And we've got the normal here, haven't we? You can't touch me, you can't arrest me. Well, a police officer can arrest you, and unfortunately we've now hit the point in this this interaction where the handcuffs have come out and this young lady is going to be arrested. Looks like the gentleman here has had a bit of common sense to get this young lad out of the way as well. They can see that things are starting to turn here. I think that putting her hands behind her back is probably the most beneficial thing that she could be doing at the moment to get herself out of this situation and comply with the police officer, who's clearly not going to be backing down. Possibly mum here is looking a little bit shocked, grabbing hold of the police officer as well. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, should she be touching the police officer? That's what we've got to ask ourselves as well here. Police officer's doing his job, isn't he? She's being arrested. I don't think she's not being arrested for nothing. I think she's being arrested because she has committed an offence, which is what the police are there to deal with. You can see that this other guy here is coming in to just like assist.
This is over a mask.
What is wrong with you people? Well, I think if we look at this video clip right here, we can see one person with a mask, two people with a mask, three people with a mask, four people with a mask, five people with a mask, six people with a mask, and one person who is not wearing a mask. So I think we know what the problem is here, don't we? She's not being arrested because she's done nothing wrong. Oh, there's another person there with a mask. That's 8 people with a mask, plus the video commentator as well, who seems to have an in-depth knowledge of the law. Well, I think that this police officer is being very restrained at the moment with what's going on. He's being shouted at by a very angry woman here. This guy's come in to try and diffuse the situation a little bit. Again, he's wearing a mask, isn't he? We've got this young lady here who's refusing to comply with a simple request of put your hands behind your back so that I can put the handcuffs on you. And we'll deal with this in a more appropriate situation in a more appropriate place. Now this police officer looks like he's trying to
don't
call
know.
for some backup.
I don't think he can arrest her for not wearing a mask.
I think he probably can because he appears to be doing just that. So I don't think this police officer would be doing all that he's doing, including using the limited level of force that he's currently doing to try and put these handcuffs on her for anything else other than arrest her.
This is not a warning. Call the cops, Raven.
Call the cops?
Yeah.
Will you talk to them?
I don't know if he's a real officer.
It says police on the side and on his back.
We don't know whether he's a real officer. The bloke's carrying a gun, a baton, a taser, pepper spray. He's got police written all over his uniform, but they're unsure whether he's actually a police officer or not, or someone that's just decided to wake up in the morning and come and annoy people at a local sporting fixture.
Doesn't mean anything. But he may be, Bridget, because there's a cop car over there. There's a cop car over there.
Do you want to call him?
Tase somebody over a mask. Tasing this lady over not wearing a damn mask.
It's time for me to go back to Florida.
Now, we know something very, very strange happened there, didn't we? As soon as she was tasered, she began to comply, which is probably what she should have done at the beginning. Instead of putting this poor police officer through such a big workout for something as simple as put a mask on or get arrested. She's not happy, is she? Now, this really frustrates me when someone says, "Oh, come on, it's just a mask." Well, that mask could potentially stop the spread of what is quite a horrendous virus, which is turned into a pandemic, from infecting other people. And no one knows who has got the virus and who hasn't. And it gets me very, very angry when people don't do the simple things that they can do to stop the spread of it and to stop other people who potentially could be more at risk of getting the virus and being hospitalized for it and possibly even dying in hospital because of it. And you have people like this who don't seem to understand that their actions affect many, many hundreds times more people around them than what they really realize. Oh, look, she's still resisting.
Arresting her for a mask, not wearing a mask, and he ain't even got one on.
I think we can quite clearly see that he doesn't have straps growing out of his chin for no apparent reason. He's also just been through quite a big struggle, and unfortunately, a average mask isn't blast welded to the face. So during the physical exertion, the mask can come off. It's been scientifically proven that if you wriggle around quite a lot, then potentially it's going to fall off.
Right.
Hey, where's your mask?
Oh, there it is.
We're back together now, right, guys? We've done this how many times together? How many times?
That's bullshit. Oh, here comes another rent-a-cop right there. That's bullshit, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah, you can't arrest somebody for not wearing a mask.
Apparently you can.
Yeah, she didn't have hers on.
Yeah, well, I got that, so.
Well, let's think of possible reasons why this police officer hasn't got her mask on. One, probably half the police department was on its route to this stadium where they're playing football, because all they've probably heard on the radio is the screaming of that young lady who wasn't wearing her mask, plus her mum shouting, or whoever it is, shouting down the radio. So police officers probably not been able to properly convey other than I need some backup here, what's going on. So half the bloody police force is probably on its way to that location. Secondly, if anyone's tried to run with their face covered, they'll know how hard it is. Now, that police officers or the police officers that have been called back up don't know what sort of situation they're getting into. So in those sorts of circumstances, speed is the most important thing. You need to get there so you can control the situation, because it potentially stops it from escalating. And we don't want things to escalate. We want things to de-escalate. So the more police we get there quickly, the better it is. And we can see that she's now putting her mask on because the situation has calmed down. But she's also run across the field, for goodness sake. So we've got to give her a little bit of slack here. You know, if anyone's tried breathing with a blooming pillow or something in front of their face after a bit of exertion, then they know what it is. It's a bit different if you're just walking around as you get enough oxygen in. But when you're, trying to gather a lot of oxygen in for doing something a bit physical, then we don't need to make sure we're not blocking up people's faces. And of course, also, that police officer had lost some of his equipment as well. His taser, the chap in the purple had it. So we need to make sure that that sort of equipment is secured as quickly as possible, which is what's happened there. So as we can see, this
You get that? Yep.
this young lady is off.
Both of them not wearing a mask.
They're both wearing a mask, love. You just can't see it. Maybe you need to open your eyes a little bit there. Now we can see that that woman quite clearly didn't understand what were the regulations for that area. Everyone else was wearing a mask. If you turn around and everyone else is wearing a mask and you're sitting there not wearing a mask, then you know something's going to happen. And it doesn't matter if you've done it 1 time or 10 times. Now, if a police officer demands or tells you or orders you to put on a mask and there is a legal obligation for you to put the mask on, sitting there arguing about it isn't going to stop yourself from being arrested. And frankly, that video clip was obviously quite short, but what we saw there probably was quite a big build up to that, and there'll probably be a little bit more that was after it, but obviously that's all we've got at this moment in time. But you can guarantee that police officer's come over and talked to that woman and obviously had that conversation about wearing a mask, and if she didn't wear a mask she'd have to leave, and she's probably began to argue about it and said, oh no, I don't want to. I've been here 6 times before doing this. She's probably also been asked by the staff around the stadium as well to put the mask on and whatnot. Maybe she did have a mask when she came in and then she decided to take it off. But at the end of the day, there's elderly people around. There's people that have got medical conditions that are affected by this horrible thing that's going on at the minute. And everyone that can do something to limit the spread of that should be doing it. And when your governors and mayors and whatnot bring in these sorts of regulations, they're not bringing it in to stifle people's personal freedoms. They're bringing them in because they need to make sure that that this is dealt with before it gets completely and utterly out of hand. And for all these people that say it's an infringement on their rights and whatnot, it isn't an infringement on your rights. It's it's something that needs to be done. It's a public health emergency, no matter which way you look at it. And in today, everyone has got the right to be able to walk down the road or go to the shops or do whatever, and not be at risk of being infected by a serious virus. And everyone has the obligation to ensure that they're doing their part. It's called being human. It's called loving your fellow man, if you want to put it that way. But this young lady, she's obviously got other views on that, and yeah, and that's why we've got this. So I don't normally do sort of reaction videos, but this one, it just gets me a little bit annoyed that there's a lot of people out there that sit there and do this armchair. Oh, this is what's going on, that's what's going on. How can you be arrested for this? How can you be arrested for that? Blah, blah, blah. Well, clearly it's happened. That police officer will still be in the job tomorrow. The other police officer will still be in a job tomorrow. It's what they're there for. They're there to protect the public. Not everyone always agrees with that, but that is what they're there for. So, yeah, that's my take on this. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.